McGregor has said this afternoon that his UFC career is on hold. He will now turn all of his attention to fight only one man, and that is Floyd Money Mayweather.
The fans wanted to see this fight. It's the most talked about fight on the planet right now, and it will be the biggest fight ever in the history of two people punching each other.
Look, Media is 28 years of age, confident as a motherfucker, long, rangy, dangerous with every hand. I'm gonna stop Floyd. You're all gonna eat your wounds. The whole world is gonna eat their wounds.
When you speak boxing, you're speaking Mayweather.
When I swing that left hook, the human skull cannot take it.
There's no boxer in history that has accomplished what I've accomplished.
Everything you taught me from day one. How old you, man? Everything working, baby. Everything working.
49-0, never been knocked down, never been knocked out. When you envision the fight, do you see stopping him?
My fist is bigger than his head. I don't care what rule set it's under. I'm gonna teach him about true fighting.
You're not on my level. You will never be on my level. Period.
I am boxing.
Yo, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, wherever you may be. This is episode 41 of the Grateful Yardy podcast. I am Drew on the ends talking the things. You can always hit me up, facebook.com/the Grateful Yardy podcast. You can hit me up on Twitter. That's twitter.com/the Grateful. No, not the Grateful. Twitter.com/Mr. Special. Instagram at Mr_Special, and on YouTube, youtube.com/the Grateful Yardy podcast. Want to give a shout out to Mike Fight Promos for the little audio clip that I played at the top of the show to promote the fight known as Mayweather versus McGregor going down on August 26th in Vegas. So I'm going to talk the things about that, and also I'm going to talk the things about Facebook and dual lifestyles on Facebook. Okay? So first off, I want to talk about the fight since I brought it up and stuff like that. So we know that Conor put his MMA career on hold to face Money Mayweather for, I believe the purse that he's getting is $180 million for this fight. Floyd's getting the same. Last week we had the press conferences all over the world. We went from New York to Los Angeles. I think it was LA, Toronto, Brooklyn, and London to cap it off. They talked a lot of shit. They smack talked each other, telling people, or Conor telling Floyd to pay your taxes. Floyd saying he is the IRS of boxing and he's going to tax Conor's backside, etc., etc. All the pandering that we do to get the crowd excited about a fight, to buy the tickets, to buy the pay-per-views, to make the promoters a bag of money. So we do these things all over the globe to get this fight out there to the masses. Did it do its job? Probably did. It did its job. It did its what it was intended to do. It was done. Did I enjoy the press conference? I think Toronto was the best stop, and I'm not being biased because I live in Toronto. I think Toronto brought out the best in both of them, and the crowd helped. And because Conor takes most of his promotional and promo styles from the world of professional wrestling, and the crowd was very much a professional wrestling crowd with a mixture of MMA involved in it, it helped. I think it died down when it got to Brooklyn, and I think I think both guys were tired of it when they got to London, because the pandering and the stuff got less and less, and things got a lot more slack. such as the F-bomb being dropped, which is a derogatory term in the LGBTQ community. I got that right. Shout out to all my people in that community. And there's no excuse for Floyd for dropping that. There was no excuse for Conor to when he referenced Rocky 3 and said, "Is that the one with the dancing monkeys?" Or calling Floyd boy. I understand it's fighting. I understand it's to promote stuff, but certain terminologies and slangs do not need to come out in the world of combat sports to promote a fight. Do I think these guys hate each other? Probably not. They probably at the end of this fight will be the best of friends and go drink beers and enjoy each other like we saw in Rocky 3 when Apollo Creed and Rocky were like the best of friends. Okay? I didn't have an issue with the selling of the fight with these press conferences. The racial and the slang, not slang, but the derogatory term used by Floyd, I didn't like. What should I predict the fight? To me, it's kind of early. Seeing little video clips here and there on YouTube of Conor boxing training. We saw what Conor can do with his hands in a fight, but remember, Floyd has 49 professional fights. He has never been knocked down. He has never been finished in any of his professional fights. That's 49 pro fights that he's had. Floyd can outbox Conor, hands down. If we had to do pros and cons, Floyd can outbox Conor. If this was a fight, like two guys in the street beating the bejeebus out of each other, I'm picking Conor because Conor can take him down, can ground and pound him, can choke him out, can knock him out with his hands. He can do all those things. Floyd is a boxer. We're talking boxing. So Floyd knows the sweet science. Floyd is the best defensive fighter in the history of professional boxing. Hands down. Best defensive fighter. So he will know how to outpoint and outclass him and make Conor look foolish within the boxing ring. However, we all know in a fight, I always say this as a joke to guys that always want to fight me when I was younger, and I was bullied and all that stuff, but that's for another podcast. There's only going to be two shots. Me hitting you and you hitting the ground. And that's all it takes in this. We all know in the history of fighting, the biggest upset in the history of professional boxing, in my opinion, was when Buster Douglas knocked out Mike Tyson in 1990 in Tokyo, Japan. Nobody saw it coming. Nobody believed, minus Buster's mom and Buster and maybe Buster's corner, that he could physically beat Mike Tyson. And he did so. So do I believe Conor has a chance? Yes, he does. But if Floyd sticks to Floyd's way of boxing, not even fighting, of boxing, Floyd is going to make Conor look hella stupid. And that's why we tune in to watch these fights. Because it's the intrigue. Conor is going in as an underdog. But right now in these press conferences, you can make Floyd the endearing character in this theater. Because you need, in this world, you do need a good person and you need a bad person. Conor, to me, represents the new school, that millennial class that I always talk about, that grew up with mixed martial arts. They didn't grow up with the UFC that I know, that cockfighting tournament style with Royce Gracie and Ken Shamrock. They grew up with that Anderson Silva, that George St. Pierre, the Randy Couture, the Chuck Liddell, Tito Ortiz, the Ultimate Fighter television show. That's who they grew up with. So the Conor McGregor has that element of professional wrestling, that Ric Flair dressed slick. People will pay money to see him get his ass whooped. But that guy represents millennials to an extent, because that's the new school. Mixed martial arts is for millennials. Floyd represents boxing. So like guys like myself, guys that are a little older than me, that grew up and that were able to see Ali, Frazier, George Foreman, were able to see Tommy Hitman Hearns, Sugar Ray Leonard, Arturo Gotti, Mickey Ward, Mike Tyson in his prime. That's the old school. So this fight is a generational fight in a way to bridge the gap between the new and the old. It's a classism fight because of the race, and I make more money than you. This is sport against sport. I'm now coming from my sport where I've dominated in Conor to come into your sport where you've dominated to show, hey, I can take over your sport if I want to. So there's a lot of factors going on in this fight coming up on August 26th that makes it intriguing that the world will be glued somewhere in front of a television, a radio, a tablet, a computer screen to watch this fight, and anything can happen. Okay, I won't predict it tonight or today or on this episode, but down the line I will give you my prediction. Okay. Secondly, I want to talk about what do I mean when I say people are living dual lives on Facebook. Dual lives to me means this: you're one way at one place and you're another way at another place. So social media in this pantheon of the earth, social media people can go on IG, put a filter. Look at my Chris car, even though it's not theirs. They can put up a filter. Oh, look at my girl. They can do this. They can impose themselves to make themselves look like they got a bag of stuff going on that is amazingly awesome and their life is grand. They're on vacations. They're on yachts. They got this Chris new Bentley. They bought a big 42-story house. That'd be crazy if you had a 42-story house, but it's just to prove my point. That's the way they're living on social media. And the truth of the matter is they're living in the slums. They're on welfare. They're jobless. Some may be homeless. They can't pay their phone bill. But they're living a life of lies and deception on social media. So they like your posts. They post stuff so you can like it. They get all giddy and endorphin filled because they got 17 likes on this photo. They got 4 million likes when they went live on Facebook. They got 27 likes on this photo on Instagram. They live in they're trying to live reality through social media, and that's wrong because it's a trap. Live your authentic life. So if you're broke pocket, change your narrative. If you're broke pocket in reality, don't go on social media flossing like you got a new whip when your whip is the local transit. Okay? Don't floss like you just bought a new $700,000 house when you're living at mom's basement. Don't floss that you just got married when you broke and spent $100,000 on a wedding, and in 2 months you and the girl are mashing up because y'all didn't take the time to build a relationship. That's the issue I'm having. That's the contradiction that I'm having that I see a lot of times on social media. Social media is great. I do this podcast, it goes up, people enjoy it, people like it, people comment on it, etc., etc., etc. They do all those things, and that's great. Social media helps everybody connect in every facet of the world. However, when you're lying on social media and your reality is not matching up with the social media life, then you got a problem and you got an issue. Because we see it all the time where people, you reach out to them personally sometimes and they turn their back on you. But on social media, they act like they're your bestest friend. That's a fraudulent movement, and that's a lie. I've heard this saying a lot. There are relationship vultures and vampires that are dressed like human beings. But when all of a sudden their fangs come out, their ears get big, and they suck the life force out of you. And that's what they're doing on social media. They're posting like their life is grand, but in the grand scheme of things, they're miserable, they're lonely, they ain't got nobody. Their husband ain't with them. The husband ain't touching them. They doing all this man and evil. The wife is doing all this man and evil. They live in a lie to make it seem like their life is so grand, but on social media, but the reality and the social media is not mixing up. That's what I'm saying. That's what you need to do, folks. The way we have a saying, Yardy people, West Indian people, you must have heard this saying, the way you dance a yard is the way you dance abroad. So the way you are dancing on social media, people believe that's the truth because that's what it is. If your relationship status doesn't say what it is on social media, ain't right. No, the way how you live your life should be on your terms, not because social media says if you don't put on Facebook you're in a relationship, single, married to whomever, it's complicated, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, folks. That's what's living a dual life is. You live in a social media life and you're living in reality. And sometimes people can't differentiate between the two lives. They think in their social media is reality when the reality and social media are not the same thing. Okay? Also, I'm gonna do a challenge for y'all coming up. So the challenge is at the start of every episode, starting my next episode, I am going to play a theme song from a classic television show. So the television show could be a sitcom, a drama, comedy, movie, etc., etc. If you are on my Facebook page, at the bottom of the link that I post for that week's episode, if you know where the song comes from and you have a memory about it, post it and I will read that comment on that episode. So for instance, if I post a song and you know the song, so give me the name of the song and the show it comes, or just give me the show it comes from. So if I play, I won't probably play Flintstones. So if I play that theme song and you're on YouTube, you're on my Facebook channel, you're on Twitter, you're on IG, message me on any of those. Leave a comment on the YouTube channel that has the video and post the name of the show and your memory of that show. Like if something triggered you, I heard the song and it triggered a memory. If nobody gets it, I will just say it in the next episode. So not this episode, but the following episodes coming up, I will at the beginning of the show play some type of old school television theme song. And I just want you to tell me what the song is and comment about it, okay? As usual, you can always hit me up, facebook.com/The Grateful Yardy Podcast. That is on IG at Mr_special, sorry. Twitter.com/Mr. Special. And on YouTube, The Grateful Yardy Podcast. God bless. Stay grateful. And dudes, live your true life. Peace.